Samson was a judge anointed by God from birth who couldn't stop chasing women. He violated sacred Nazirite vows repeatedly, betrayed his divine calling for sexual pleasure, gave away the secret of his strength to an enemy spy, and ended his days with his eyes gouged out, chained like an animal grinding grain in a Philistine dungeon. The Bible doesn't sugarcoat anything. This man, chosen to deliver Israel, served 20 years as judge, but died in what we would call a suicide attack, killing more Philistines in his death than in his entire lifetime. Stay until the end, because this story will show you that no matter how imperfect you are, God can still do something incredible with your life. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and leave your like. The dark side. They hid from you. Sunday schools paint Samson as a muscular, brave hero. The scriptural truth is far messier. In Judges 14:1-3, Samson demands his parents arrange a marriage with a Philistine woman from Timnah, completely ignoring God's laws against mixed marriages. When his parents protest, saying, "Is there no woman among your relatives?" Samson responds arrogantly, "Get her for me, for she looks good to me." The Hebrew expression is crystal clear, pure physical attraction, lust without any spiritual disguise. Archaeological excavations at Tel Batash have identified the ruins of Timnah, revealing a fortified Philistine city from Samson's era, complete with pagan temples and cultural artifacts confirming the historical context of this forbidden union. Today, this would be like a Christian leader abandoning his faith to marry someone from a completely opposite religion just because she's hot. The biblical text doesn't romanticize it. Samson was controlled by his eyes. But the story gets worse. In Judges 15:1-5, after his Philistine father-in-law gives his wife to another man, Samson doesn't seek justice or prayer. He captures 300 foxes, ties torches to their tails, and releases them into Philistine crops, destroying the entire harvest. That's pure revenge, causing mass famine. Then in Judges 16:1, he goes down to Gaza and enters a prostitute's house. A judge of Israel, consecrated from the womb, paying for sex in enemy territory. The final betrayal comes with Delilah, recorded in Judges 16:4-21. Delilah doesn't hide that she was bought by Philistine leaders. Each prince offers 1,100 pieces of silver, a fortune equivalent to several years' wages. She asks openly, "Tell me where your great strength lies." Samson knows she's working for the enemy, but his lust blinds him completely. He lies 3 times, she betrays him 3 times, and still he keeps returning to her bed. When he finally reveals that his hair was never cut because of the Nazirite vow, Delilah calls the Philistines while he sleeps on her lap. Verse 20 is devastating. He awoke from his sleep and thought, "I will go out as I did before and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had departed from him. The devastating consequences. The consequences of Samson's sin were brutal and public. Judges 16:21 describes the scene with cruel details. Then the Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes and took him down to Gaza. Binding him with bronze shackles, they set him to grinding grain in the prison. The Philistines didn't just capture him, they humiliated him in the most degrading way possible. Gouging out eyes was common torture among ancient peoples for symbols of power, and forcing him to grind grain was women's and slaves' work, the greatest shame for a warrior. Historical and archaeological evidence confirms Philistine brutality. Excavations at Tel Qasil and Tel Mikne have revealed Philistine temples from Samson's time, including structures supported by 2 central pillars, exactly as described in Judges 16:29. A small stone seal from the 11th century BC, discovered near the Sorek Valley, shows a man fighting a lion, possibly referencing the Samson legend already circulating among Israelites and Philistines. These discoveries not only validate the biblical narrative, but show that Samson's imprisonment and torture were real and terrible. But consequences didn't stop with him. During his 20 years as judge, Samson never led an army, never organized collective deliverance for Israel. He acted alone, motivated by personal revenge, not zeal for God's people. Judges 13:5 promised he would begin to deliver Israel from the hand of the Philistines, but the text never says he completed that mission. Israel remained under Philistine oppression even after his death. Families who lost crops when Samson burned the harvests suffered famine. The wife from Timnah and her father were burned alive by their own Philistines as retaliation in Judges 15:6. Innocent people paid the price for the selfish acts of a man who should have been a deliverer, but lived as a slave to his own desires. The Bible doesn't hide these consequences because divine grace never means absence of pain caused by sin. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and leave your like so you won't miss the next episodes. God's impossible response. The turning point in Samson's story happens in the most unlikely place, a Philistine prison, blind, humiliated, forgotten. Judges 16:22 records a crucial detail often overlooked. But the hair on his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. This verse isn't about magic hair, it's about God's mercy timing. While Samson ground grain in darkness, something was being restored. Not his physical strength first, but his connection with the God he had betrayed. When the Philistines brought him to Dagon's temple to mock him before 3,000 people, including all Philistine rulers, Samson prayed for the first time in the entire recorded biblical narrative. Judges 16:28 says, "Then Samson called to the Lord, saying, O Lord God, remember me, I pray, strengthen me, I pray, just this once, O God, that I may with one blow take vengeance on the Philistines for my 2 eyes." It's an imperfect prayer, still mixed with personal revenge, but it's a genuine prayer. Samson finally recognized his strength never came from hair or muscles, but from the Lord. God answered, not because Samson deserved it, but because God uses broken people to display his glory. Samson pushed the 2 central pillars of the temple and said, "Let me die with the Philistines." The building collapsed, and Judges 16:30 records, "So the dead that he killed at his death were more than he had killed in his life." Was it a suicidal act? Technically, yes. Samson knew he would die. But it was also an act of faith recorded in Hebrews 11:32, where Samson is listed among faith heroes who by faith conquered kingdoms. This isn't God approving Samson's sin or calling his lust a silly mistake. It's God demonstrating his grace is greater than our mess. The theology behind this is clear. God doesn't wait for us to be perfect before using us. He waits for us to be broken enough to cry out to him. Romans 5:8 summarizes, "But God demonstrates his own love toward us, in that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." Samson was included in the Faith Hall of Fame, not because he lived perfectly, but because in the end he trusted God instead of himself. Samson's restoration teaches us God doesn't discard flawed people. He rescues them. He transforms shame into purpose. Samson's sin had terrible consequences. Innocent people suffered. He died blind and chained. But God still fulfilled his purpose through him. That's pure grace. Why this changes everything for you today. If you carry shame from sexual sins, addictions, stupid decisions that hurt people, Samson's story is for you. God doesn't look for perfect resumes. He looks for repentant hearts. You may have betrayed your family, thrown away opportunities, destroyed relationships. The question isn't, can God use me? The question is, are you willing to cry out to him like Samson cried in that dark prison? The difference between early Samson and final Samson is he stopped trusting his own strength and finally turned to God. You don't need to wait until you lose everything to do this. Start today. Confess your sin, ask forgiveness, accept the grace Jesus offers on the cross, because the same God who heard the prayer of a blind, broken judge in a Philistine prison is ready to hear yours now. Samson killed more in death than in life because he finally understood it wasn't about him. It was about the God who called him from the womb. Your life can have the same impact when you stop fighting alone and let God be your strength. In the next episode, Jonah, the racist prophet who fled because he didn't want his enemies saved, caused a storm that nearly killed innocent people and got angry at God's mercy. Don't miss it.